All right, call the meeting to order. I'll rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
See that Tom did away with that? All you did,
What?
the Tom did away with it?
Haven't made
Oh,
this.
yeah, I've
seen that, that was insane.
Councilwoman Schott, would you please lead us in prayer?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for entrusting us to be the stewards of our community. And we ask that you guide our hearts and minds as we make decisions. We ask that you bless our community with peace and prosperity. And we ask you to please protect our police department, fire department, and our other employees as they perform their duties. We also ask that you bless members of the military, past and present, and thank you for giving them the courage to serve. We pray that you will protect them and return them safely home. And Father, we also ask that during this heat spell that's coming on, that you will keep our elderly safe and cool. In Jesus' name, amen.
Also, please remember tonight to remember Don and Marcia in your prayers and thoughts. They could use it right now.
Okay.
Do we have a motion for the minutes?
So moved. Second.
Bennett,
Yes.
Thayer,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
and Schott.
Yes.
Bills?
Motion for the bills?
Second.
Bennett, yes. Thayer,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
and Schott.
Yes.
Hourly workers' time report? Actually, I have a question on this, Deb. What is that, like what he cured throughout the year?
Who are you looking at?
Henry Wood.
Yes, this is for the whole year, and when I put up here, this was for this payroll period,
For the current, okay.
current, and then it's the same for the overtime. This is the total overtime, and then if you find someone here, he had 3.5 that pay period, regular time.
That's what I thought, I just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
Fireman's time, well, they were busy.
Second.
Third.
Bennett,
Yes.
Thayer,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yes.
McKinney, Bailey,
Yes.
and Schott.
Yes. If you don't mind, I would like to commend the fire department. You're doing a great job. I know they've had a lot of calls and a lot of, in this hot weather, and I appreciate all you do for us.
Thank you.
Agreed. Yeah, they've definitely been busy.
Oh,
Okay, Deb, when you're ready, you can give us your report.
For those of you that didn't see it on Facebook, the mosquito spraying for the 18th was changed to tonight, the 15th. And they was going to use the 18th for a rain date if necessary. We received a thank you from the Jean Witter family. It says, thank you for the contribution from the village of Beach City in memory of Bob Witter. I want to tell you that the new window in the back has been installed. They did it on Friday.
It looks great too, by the way, if you haven't seen it.
I have a call, I have to make, probably about Wednesday to, Stark County Treasurer's Office in regards to the mowing at 211 3rd Avenue. I called it a tax lien, it's called a tax assessment, but I still don't know what paperwork we have to fill out. Did you learn anything?
I did, as best I can tell. Step one would be the legislative authority passes a resolution authorizing the clerk treasurer to certify the assessment to the auditor's office. And then the auditor's office will put it on the tax due.
Okay.
And it'll be basically what you already did here, so your piece is done, my piece is done. I think if the two are done, then
Okay.
that's how it's put on
Okay,
there.
good. I did get, loan information regarding police vehicles, it was quite interesting. Apple Creek Bank will offer us a 3.9% for a 5-year loan, and we can go the same way we did with the existing vehicle. If we wanna go 6 years, it goes from 3.9 to 4.5. Unified Bank offered 3.11% for 5 years. And of all things you hear, they say finance through the dealerships for the different car makers. Ford was gracious enough to offer the municipalities for 5 years a 7% interest rate. 7. I was very surprised.
Kind.
So that in consideration, what you decide, if you're going to discuss anything about another vehicle, if you wanna have a finance meeting, go over stuff, that's where we're at right now.
3.9 for 5 years, that's what we did the last.
I didn't check what the rate was, but that's what it is right now,
What is the one for the block room?
4.5 or 6 year. But
Which one was that, the Strawberry Bank?
No, that was Albuquerque. If you go to 6 years, you're going out of the time frame of the levy. So, yeah.
I just wanted to.
And I believe that is all that I have. Total cost of the mowing was $312.50. That's it.
How often are we gonna have to do that, every twice a year?
Well,
Put that up there?
there was people there yesterday mowing and weeding. And digging something out back, I have no idea, I was trying to keep an eye on them, but they weed eated and ran a mower over it again,
That's one beside your house, right?
2 houses now from me.
Well, we might not have to do that
On
when
the
we
side
get.
of the road.
You mean Chris
The
Miller's
brick
problem?
home,
No, you're talking, yeah, no.
That's where,
Yeah.
what was her name, the lady?
Diane and Dave, yeah, they're both deceased.
It had this grandson, I think that was, Chris's, okay.
The one down past you, somebody mowed it earlier, there was 2 guys down there 2 months ago mowed it. And I don't know if they've been back yet, I haven't.
I think it's when the police department got a hold of the bank, or whoever's handling it.
Okay.
I gotta look at it
Might be
again.
sent down.
Good.
But they were there
Somebody's
at
aware of it.
the house, 2 houses up from me on Sunday for probably 3 hours.
So that $300 some, we gotta take it up to the
Well, that goes
to the county to get it.
We will, but we have to pass legislation for it.
Should we do that now? Or,
I have a draft if you wanna take a look at it.
I'd like,
Yeah, if you want me to copy it for them, or
I
not.
should have enough.
let's read it, Debbie.
But it's just more than read it, I have to go get a number.
Yeah, and it has to
Okay.
be filled, I tried to make it a form so that you can use it,
Oh, yeah.
and I'll send you the MS Word of it too.
Let's go ahead and get it done.
Well, while you're looking at it, let me go look to see what number it's gonna be, because I don't know.
Good enough.
Get that list of who's on the committees and all that stuff.
I'll have to
If you
dig
have,
for
I
it.
mean, if you don't.
You don't have a copy of it?
I don't.
You talking about a copy of the committee's job?
Yeah.
I thought I had one in
I
here.
know, I thought I did too.
Georgie, do you have one?
That's what I'm looking for. I thought I did.
Oh, I had a copy, but I didn't want that, just find it out.
Well, and then sometimes,
Aha!
here it is.
Oh,
Is the same one you got
yours too?
as of 1/15/18?
yeah.
Nope, I got.
10:15.
Okay, this one here is the more updated. Finance?
government.
Oh, I can, but we can change by hand, and I can change it, so yeah, change it.
I have no life, so you people that do, you'll have to just fill me in.
I have a life, but I sleep with a
Okay, it would be the first reading of Resolution 1910. A resolution providing for the assessment to be levied and authorizing the clerk treasurer to certify those assessments to the Stark County auditor. Actually, I think it should be treasurer. Only because the auditor's office called me today and told me the treasurer's office handled it. Should I do it slash auditor treasurer?
Yeah, I would be, I mean, the treasurer is in charge of collection, determination, the determination of the amount owed and breaking it down is the auditor.
Okay.
And the treasurer is like the, just treasurer, that's where the money comes in, that's
Okay.
where it comes out.
Auditor, okay. Would be your first reading.
$18.10.
1910.
Let me ask you something. If people's already out there at the house, what he's talking about, if they go to buy it, it won't get on the tax lien fast enough and won't be paid for before the people buy it or they have to do it. Do you think we ought to suspend the rules?
That I don't
So we
know.
can get it up there?
I would, there's no reason not to.
Okay, because if they get it done and they go to buy it, this thing will not be on there yet.
Motion to suspend.
I would suspend.
Second.
Do you have any idea how long it takes to put it on?
To put it on, I don't think it's going to be that much time. I think they get it or process it in a matter of days.
I would think
guess,
so.
and that's just a guess.
Bennett?
Yes.
Fair?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes,
And Schott?
Yes.
Motion passed.
second,
Bennett? Fair?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes.
Bailey?
yes.
And Schott?
Yes.
I'll have it ready for you to sign tomorrow. That's all I have.
Is that it?
All right.
Chief Anderson, what do you have for us this evening?
I got just a few things. Calls here to date, we run 134 calls. As is the same date in 2018, we're at 145. So we're just running a little bit shy of what we did last year. I put in front of everybody a mutual aid summary. Just for curiosity and just so you guys can see, a lot of people are under the speculation for whatever reason that they think other towns are running our calls. I don't know why they think this. I do know during the month of between June 15th and July 15th, we requested mutual aid one time. We probably ran 35, 40 calls in that amount of time when we requested mutual aid one time. So the reason I did this is so you guys can see what we're actually doing, and you can see on there, we're actually giving mutual aid almost double as to what we're receiving it. So for whatever reason, people are saying these things, and it's coming from other communities, and I'm sure we can all speculate as to why they want to try to say things, but obviously it's not true. We provide mutual aid to other agencies way more than they provide to us, or at least on a as even basis in some cases. So it's not as if one agency's running all the calls in this area. That just,
And we're not making no big thing about it because that's what it was made for.
right, exactly. We're to help each other. Unfortunately, you have some that are pushing for something different, and they're gonna use what they need to use to try to help their case. So I issue this to our association every month. So I mean, they have a rundown every month of what we provide to what we get. And I mean, there's times we're even, there's times we're way ahead like we are now. There's sometimes we're gonna be behind. It's just, you know, we're volunteer, and that's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. I know that she went over last month. I couldn't be here, our last meeting. I hope what I printed out was helpful. When I can't be here, I'll continue to do that. The power cot is installed. The power load systems are both installed. They're working great, and we've run them in both trucks now. We did have some issues with the old squad. They fixed the lights for us, which is not an issue. They got that going good. we noticed on a call the other day that half the emergency lights weren't working on the squad. Well, luckily Dan dug into it. Burgess must have unplugged some wiring and didn't rehook it up. That is fixed. The problem we do have with that squad is for some reason they did not wire it in with the charger, they wired it direct to the battery. I don't know if there was a reason for it, I gotta get a hold of Burgess and find out. The other problem is the hole they put in the bottom of the squad where they ran the wiring through, they put like a 1-inch hole and the wiring's running through and it's like an 8-inch thick, and they did not silicone that hole shut. So more than likely, that truck's gonna go back to Burgess as soon as I can get a chance to call them and actually get their service guy where he's actually in for a day. We're probably gonna either make them come up here and work on it or send it back down there and ask them to please fix it. The new squad's wired good, it's running good, that's the squad that we're actually running this week, but like I said, we've actually ran both of them, and both units are working really well. I encourage anybody that wants to see them, we might try to get it out Saturday. The thing is, we'll have to watch if we would get a call, we're obviously gonna use it, so. If we can get it out Saturday, let some people see it at the festival, we'll try to do that.
You got 1 week at
Training.
a time, like 1 week?
Right now, we've been rotating 1 week at a time. I did cut off the old squad about 3 days early because that's when we found out the problem with the emergency lights. We got it back up and running. I will probably run the new squad through the festival week, and then we'll go back to the old squad the week after festival, pending when Burgess is able to fix the issues we gotta get. It should be minor and quick, so.
The training you did with the members of the fire department went well then?
Yes, we did a mandatory, if you will, training because everybody needed to learn how to run this. Allison from Stryker actually come back down to do our training. She was no longer our representative, but she came down to see us through. She actually insisted because of all the stuff that we had been through just to make it work. And she thanked us for everything we did with her, and she said it was actually a pleasure being able to help a small community as ours, as heartfelt as we put out that we needed these things. You know, she said it was actually a pleasure for her to do it. So she did come down, even though she is no longer a rep. She's seen everything through. I did email some stuff to Deb the other day. We got some paperwork. We got a file for the BWC grant. We're actually past due. I talked to Stephen Hanna, whatever day I called you, Debbie, I'm lost in my days now, probably Friday. He said that it was okay with the way the stuff took to get it ordered, get it in. We were still good. Stryker is working on that statement as we speak. She emailed me again today and said they're working on it. Hopefully we'll have that here in the next few business days. We can cut our $40,000 payment and get our paperwork filed with the BWC.
Was she the woman that came down and did the demonstration that was over there?
Yes, yep, and like I said, they changed reps in Stryker, and we got a guy now named Brandon, can't think of his last name, but they changed their areas, and she actually insisted that she come down and see it through, which was super nice of her because she didn't need to, but she did. She come down, she trained us, she walked us through everything. If anything would happen, we learned how to do everything in the manual settings and everything. So super great lady. I really hate to lose her as our rep because she was very knowledgeable and was always within a phone call away. So
Well, by doing the two, we don't have to end up switching back and forth on the cot.
we switched the cot back and forth because we only have one power
Oh, just the cot,
Right.
okay.
So when we switch, we actually got to change a battery, which is a spare battery, just plugs into the side. We have a hook that we have to screw down into our floor. It takes all but a minute to screw down in there. And then we move the one cot out of this squad and into the other, kill the power to the power load system, push it all the way to the front. It acts like the antlers like the old one did. And then whatever squad has the power cot is the squad that we obviously run.
So
Right
with
now,
the
it's
levy
like-
going on, we're gonna try to get the second cot then,
The
right?
levy, and I'm gonna go over that when I get to that brochure. The levy, that is a big thing. One of the first things I wanna hit with that levy is a power cot. Obviously, our other LifePak 15, we're gonna have to do soon. And year, I wanna say 2022, they're no longer gonna service, they're not gonna make parts for the LifePak 12s. We still have one in our old squad. It's a good unit. I'm not gonna tell you it's not, but it's just like with anything else technology, they move forward, they quit servicing the old stuff, and you're stuck buying a new. And we'll go over all that here in a minute, but you're talking for a cot, you're at like 24,000. I'm going off the top of my head, I don't have my paper in front of me. LifePak, you're probably at 35 is what we were at when we bought the new one. You're probably gonna be upwards of 38 now, I'm guessing, maybe with accessories and stuff. That is definitely two of the biggest areas we gotta get, and that's the reason I'm pushing for this levy. And I really wish I was here last week, because I think there's some people that are very confused about this levy. So, but we'll go over that here in a minute. The state of Ohio is forcing us to do what they call positive ID on our drugs now. And the way this works, we get a little plastic card, looks like a little credit card. It comes through IMS, which is our software server that syncs all our stuff to our state. I've already talked to Debbie. They provided me with a scanner. They provide each of our EMS guys, only our EMS guys that are authorized to give drugs will carry one. When they do a report, they'll have to scan their card into the iPad. They'll have to put in a special code that only they know, and that will signify and ensure to the state that that is the person that actually gave the drug. Once again, more requirements. Beach City unfortunately was falling behind on this. I do know there was only 2 departments left in the county that had not went to it, and Beach City was one of them. I'll take the blame for that. I didn't realize it was there. I guess we should have done it a while ago, but we have the cards in. I'm waiting on one for a new member. Everything's scanned. I'm going to have him toggle on the positive ID probably next week. That'll give us a chance to train on it.
How many cards will you end up having, Bill?
Off the top of my head, I want to say we're at like 16 EMS members. That'll go to all our medics, our EMTs, and our EMRs. Anybody that's
They will
licensed
have
to
to
give
sign
drugs.
for every one of the cards then?
No, they're already here. They are here. I've already issued most of the cards. I got 2 or 3 over there. They're also putting kiosks, vending machines, whatever you want to call it. It's called UCAP system. Will be in the hospital soon, and that's how we'll do our one-to-one drug exchange. So these are pretty important cards. Unfortunately, these guys are going to have to learn to carry them, and that's going to be an issue, especially with a volunteer department. You got guys that are in the middle of mowing their yard, or they're doing whatever they're doing and running out the doors.
Would
So-
you be better off to have a place over there where all the cards are kept, where they can take them out
Would
if
we
they
be
gotta
better
go?
off to do that? Yes. Can we legally do that? No. We cannot have everybody access everybody's cards, even
Okay.
though that they are security keyed to a special code that only that individual knows. We cannot let everybody have access to the cards, so they have to carry them on their own. I know one issue we've talked about doing is maybe everybody carries a cell phone, snapping a picture of it on your cell phones, keeping it in a safe place in there, and then if they don't have the card, they got their cell phone. The other thing we can do is if they can't swipe it, they forget it, we can do it later in the office, but that just puts more weight on my shoulders, unfortunately, because until they positive ID, they will not sync to the state. So, but we'll get through it. The only reason I'm bringing it up is you will see $100 increase on the next invoice for IMS. That's what they charge for the scanner and the cards. And I went ahead and did it because we have to do it. Like I said, we're behind the ball on it. So the next invoice, instead of being $400, will be $500. And unfortunately, we didn't have much of a choice on that. So moving forward, I give everybody a copy of our levy brochure. Everybody can see this is kind of a generic copy. I want to take these to a printing place. I want to get them printed on glossy paper, make them look pretty nice. These will answer any questions that anybody should have. Like I said, I wish I was here last week. The thing people need to understand is yes, we are going to have 2 levies for one department. We absolutely are. But here's how I explain it to anybody, okay? If you started your job in 1999, 20 years ago, and you never got a raise, would you be able to pay your bills today? And the answer I can tell everybody is absolutely not. And in essence, that's what we're doing with the fire department. We are barely making our budget, or we're barely making our operations costs, okay? We're doing this levy because there's equipment that we will never fit into our operations with the money that we're getting that we have to buy. You know, the SCBA's, I just told you, are outdated this year. We're looking at $100 and some thousand there. You know, it's all broke down in this, along with the Life Pack 15, the Power Cot. People need to understand that, yes, we do have a levy, but with it being a continuous levy, we have not gained any additional money in 20 years. That is absolutely unheard of. I've said this before, and I know people don't understand that. I'm hoping I have a chance during the festival to answer questions. We'll see how busy we are. Usually I'm flopping burgers. Maybe they can come back here and have a burger and talk. We'll figure something out. But people got to know, I mean, this is why we're doing this. Years ago, somebody was smart enough to go for the continuous levy, so we didn't have to fight every 4 or 5 years to make sure we pass another levy. And kudos to them. I don't know if it was Chief Desiato who was chief at the time, but kudos to them. But unfortunately, it's come to a time where everybody knows things have doubled and tripled. In 1999, you could buy a fire engine for $150,000, $200,000. Go price one today. you're talking a fire engine today, you're talking $500,000, and that's with no equipment. I mean,
$675,000.
and that's what I'm saying, things have went through the roof, people gotta understand that costs have went up, we've done the best we can. And like I said, in 5 years, this levy goes away, we go back to where we were. We're not trying to gouge anybody, I pay taxes just like anybody, I hate the taxes go up too. But we gotta be responsible, we gotta keep our fire department, we gotta keep the best equipment we can get. And you know, like I said before, we run a fire department for pennies on the dollar as to what some of these communities are running now. And I'm showing you our mutual aid stats, and I'm gonna tell you what, we're running most of our calls, and we're doing it pretty darn cheap, you know, so these guys are here for a passion, not for a paycheck. I've said that a million times. When the passion goes away, we're in trouble. But you know what? Right now, we got a good group of men and women, and we keep the truck going out the door as we need to. So, anybody has any questions, I will gladly answer them on the levy. Like we said, John, I don't have anything that I can't answer. I'll gladly take questions. Just please don't bombard me. I mean, I work full-time too, so. So I give you all them, like I said, we're gonna send them to a printing company, try to make them look a little nicer, and hopefully, the plan is right now, go door to door eventually, maybe closer to levy time. I'm also talking to the guys about maybe housing an informational meeting / open house. Maybe some people will show up to that, we can answer some questions. And like I said, if we get time Saturday, if we're not overwhelmed with work, I'll do my best. We'll try to show some people this new stuff that we're getting with you know, what we got. The other thing I hear a lot is all we do is beg for levy money. Well, we're paying for that anyway. Well, let me ask you this, if the federal government's giving out money and you're paying for it anyway, would you rather go to Beach City where you're living and paying, or would you rather go to somewhere else where you're paying and not getting anything anyway? So people really need to understand, you know, these grants and stuff that we're getting, it's a good thing, it's not a bad thing. They're gonna give that money out to somebody, you're gonna pay for it regardless, it might as well come back to our community. And I put in countless hours, as do some of the other guys, and we get every grant we can get for this community, and I mean, that's the best thing we can do without taxing the heck out of our people, so. I just think there's some misconceptions there on what we do and why we
Absolutely
do
there
it,
is.
so.
Absolutely.
I did get the resignations, I know Dan brought them over the other day when I couldn't be here. Parrott, Vogue, Walls, and Wood, all of their equipment is turned in. The association approved their resignation last Tuesday at the meeting. I would like for you guys to accept them so we can get them off of our roster and move on.
Motion. Second.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes,
and Schott.
Yes.
And can I go over that list again? It is Parrott, Voight, Walls, and Wood.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All their equipment is turned in, including their keys. We had a few keys that were still out. We've got them back. They have most of them have moved out of the area, was the main reason they've resigned. And we've talked about inactive members. I did talk to firefighter Little the other day. I had to reach him through Facebook. I told him he needs to turn his stuff in. I tried to give him some more time. He hasn't been able to be around either. He did not reach back to me. I will keep in touch the best I can with him, and we'll go from there. I did have a question from our guys, and I told them I would ask. It's totally up to you guys. Years ago, we started hauling water, swimming pool water, for the association to make money. We have issues with guys that don't want to haul it now, and some of the excuses are, we got to fill on a 2-inch standpipe at our station, and it takes 30 minutes to fill the truck, which is true. I've done it. It takes forever. I know there was a reason we went away from filling on a hydrant. I don't remember what the reason was, but what is the odds of us going back to filling on a hydrant?
well, look, I'll tell you what it was. They wouldn't tell us when they was doing it, where they was at.
All right, so let me ask you this, if we
I
keep
think
track.
I'm right on that.
If we keep track, and I'm just asking for a chance, if they don't report it to me, I can't report it to you, and then we nip it in the bud as quick as we started it. If we would start letting our guys fill on a hydrant, they can fill this tanker in a matter of 5 minutes versus 30. These guys come in and they're doing this for money, essentially for us, because the association, in one way, shape, or form, has given this money, whether it's through the building, through whatever we may buy equipment-wise. if I tell them that we can start filling out the hydrant, as long as we're keeping track of how many loads we hauled and where we got it from, can we fill out the hydrant?
I don't mind it. Now, one of the problems we got, Bill, is the person that opens the darn hydrant up, if something happens to it, they don't get reported back to Donnie Lambert that we gotta fix that hydrant.
Do you
They
wanna-
just don't open them
Do
up
you
for
wanna
'em.
wait to make a determination on this until we can talk to Donnie? Would that be better? What I'm trying to do is, we got a
And I
list of 12,
understand what
we
you're
got a
gonna
list
do.
of 12 guys, or 12 residents, whatever, wherever they're from, that need water right now. Our guys, they come down and haul 2 loads of water, they tied up 2-3 hours of time, because it literally takes 35 minutes. Well, number one, say we're hauling water outside by the airport. Now, we're trucking all the way back to town to fill on a 2-inch standpipe versus, what is out there, 11-inch main that we could fill off of. Fill this truck in a few minutes' time, get back, dump another load of water. That's part of the problem. It's just so time consuming to come back and wait for that truck to fill at the station.
Well, number one, you have to bill within the corporation limits.
Another thing, or another reason why it was put down is if you do not know how to shut and open those hydrants properly and come down, what's happening is you're shocking the system. When they were filling out of town, it was blowing the water line out, causing water breaks because
Well,
the
and
hammer.
that's what I'm
So you
saying.
have to,
I don't-
whoever does it needs to be trained on how to properly, because when you get close, you gotta go real slow, bring it down, because if you hammer it and just crank it, it causes leaks, and then you wind up having 4 or 5 water breaks
Yeah,
because
and
of.
I don't wanna start that either. That's what I'm saying. If you wanna wait until we talk to Donnie, maybe Donnie, and you know, I agree with what Eddie's saying too. Maybe it's a bad idea. I just told him I'd bring it up. I don't expect you to have to make an answer tonight. I will tell them until we get better information from Donnie or whoever, we'll continue to fill from the station. You know, but that is part of the problem. I mean, we do make pretty decent money hauling water, but it is very labor intensive and it's very time consuming, because when you, like I said, you fill out that 2-inch standpipe, you're talking half hour, 35, 40
There
minutes.
was
to
a
fill that
woman in
truck.
Beach City already asked me about why she couldn't get her water for her swimming pool.
Well, and here's
And I
the
didn't
thing,
know what was going
here's
on.
the thing, we've even had people, it's totally unrelated, and it really upsets me, but we've had people that have looked at us and said, you know, I'm a registered voter, and it's like, you're talking about swimming pool water, you know, unfortunately, this is the stuff that's why I'm trying to fix the problems we have, and that's what I told the guys the other day. We either make the determination, we fix how we haul it, we get it hauled in a timely manner, or we quit hauling it. You know, I'd rather tell people, no, we don't haul pool water, is to tell them, yes, we haul it, and 6 weeks later, or, I mean, that's an exaggeration, but you know what I'm saying? 2 weeks later, they're still waiting on their pool water.
I
That
would
makes
look
us
for
look
Donnie to
bad.
tell you, use a certain hydrant to fill, whether you gotta come in town or not. I would imagine.
But even that would be better than going off that 2-inch
Then we won't
standpipe.
run into what he's talking about.
I totally agree, and I know we popped hydrants before doing training, we popped them, and I'll gladly wait until we talk to Donnie, I have no problem with that, if you think that's better. All right,
Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah, you would know which one to go to.
Okay.
right, all right, we'll do that route. Real quick, I'm gonna go over again, the Reed's grant, which you guys all know has fallen through. The fire marshal grant has also fallen through. Those are both the grants that I had hoped that we could secure 20 marked pagers. Now, the problem we have, and I've talked to Deb a little bit, and I know I've mentioned it to you, our guys, we're toned over UHF. After we're toned over UHF, anybody that's not a line officer carrying one of these radios cannot hear anything, okay? My suggestion is, since we cannot get the marked pagers, number one, we either attempt to buy them, which I think is a long stretch. You're talking for the cheapest pager we can get in marks is probably $500 a pop. I think that's a little more than what we're gonna, I mean, maybe if we can entertain some more money in the future, I get that. My suggestion is, we have limited amount of money in our sheriff radios, okay? At this time, we carry a sheriff radio on the grass truck, 1 on each squad, 4 on the rescue, 1 in the tanker, and 1 in the radio room. The radio room one we can eliminate soon because we got a base radio with the regional grant, we're just waiting on it to come in. Now, even if I would issue 1 radio to each household, to every member I have, or if I even thought maybe just EMS members, because 90% of our calls are EMS. If I would issue 1 radio to each household, I would have enough sheriff radios that I would not hand out a $4,000 radio to anybody. And we would still have 12 portable radios sitting in our station at all times, 6 on each engine. This is the easiest way I know to fix our communication glitch. The reason I'm worried about our communication glitch is we have people that come from outside of town, they're toned, they come in running lights and sirens on their car, we may turn a crew, they don't know, they're still running. For one instance, we had a call one night, Brewster toned us for mutual aid, okay? We turn a crew, Brewster, first of all, I didn't know we even turned a crew, Brewster comes on and says, hey guys, you can cancel, thanks for the help. 3 minutes later, we hear sirens come out, and here comes one of our guys running in. What do we got? We got canceled 3-4 minutes ago. We're putting our guys in a liability that I don't want them to be in. We can fix it by assigning a few radios. Now, if you feel better about me typing out something that says if there's damage to the radio, or they're responsible for the radio, we can do that, if that's an answer. I just am looking to take liability off of our members.
How many radios that we would need that we don't have for everybody that you're talking about?
For everybody, honestly, I probably have enough radios at the station to assign every single member a radio. The only reason I'm against that is you're talking these radios right here, like I carry, our officers all carry them. These radios are about $4,500, $5,000 radios a piece. The sheriff radios, we have no money in them, but except for flashing them, which I don't remember what the cost of flashing was. I wanna say like 200, 300, was it even that high? I mean, it's minimal for a radio. And the other option is Chief Geip even said that he has old sheriff radios down there that if we wanted or needed, he does not need them, we could flash them and we could use them. The only downfall of that is the more radios we get on this system, the quicker the county commissioners run the money dry and the quicker we start paying for maintenance fees. I don't wanna put any more radios in per se. I would like to at least assign our sheriff radios. I'm just talking one per household. This ain't something that these guys need to carry to work. I've already told them that if we do it. It's something that they're only gonna grab if they're responding to this call. If they're not responding, the radio stays in the charger. If they abuse that, they lose the radio. It's not so 20 people can talk. It's not a toy. It's so they can hear what's going on. That's all I'm worried about is once we acknowledge a call, we know we have a crew. These guys that are coming, especially the guys that are coming from out of town and the township and everything else, they know, hey, I can slow up, we're good to go,
Let me ask you one thing. Instead of buying the radio, the transmitting radio, can't we get, the other word I want?
Pagers?
Pagers.
Pagers.
That number is on, that they can hear from their house if you gotta slow them down.
We can, and that's what I'm saying. To get the absolute cheapest pager, you're at about $500 a pop. So if we would want pagers, I would say, I'm gonna say even to put one at each household, you're probably talking at least 10, you're at $5,000.
We could lease them off of somebody that has them then.
I mean,
so much a year.
This is all brand new technology. I don't know, I mean, we can look into leasing.
Yeah,
it,
but you already have the radio.
We have, and that's my thing, we have the radios.
You might as well utilize.
These
what you have.
radios, okay, and these radios, these trucks have been out the door numerous times, all of them. The only radios that we've actually pulled off the trucks and used are the radios on the engine. They're the new radios. We just ran an MVA the other day, a motor vehicle accident with the rescue, had a full crew out there, never pulled a single radio off the truck. I actually pulled one off the hand of the cop, and he goes, oh, I'll just go to your channel. And I took it right back to the truck and put it back in the charger. That's the beauty about being on Marks, is because now we can communicate where we never could before. I'm telling you that I know we can get by without these radios being in-house. And even if we can, even if somebody comes in the door and forgets their radio and we have a structure fire, we got 6 radios sitting on engine 132, we have 6 radios sitting on engine 131, and even if they gotta go back to 131, grab a radio and then walk up to the rescue truck to get in, we're killing 10 seconds, you know what I mean? We're fixing the problem and not charging any money to anybody.
Let me ask you, if the people have a cell phone, matter of fact, I see them turn on the channel where they can hear what you're doing.
But here's the problem, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
The cell phone is delayed. Number one, it's already delayed about 40 seconds.
Okay.
Number two, now that everybody's on Marks, the cell phone scans every channel. So if the city of Canton's out on a call, and Jackson Township's out on the call, and North Canton's out on a call, you're gonna pick up this guy, back to this guy, over to this guy, that guy. Beach City's gonna be talking, but you ain't gonna pick him up.
Everything
After
changes.
this, you can't pick it up. And we've tried that. I've tried everything I can. I know there's guys that are against assigning these radios. I understand we've done this way for years. I get it. But you know what? Times are changing. We gotta fix it. And if we can in the near future get secure money for Mark's pagers, and we bring all the radios back and we assign pagers. But this is the cheapest way to fix the problem, for now. And like I said, I'm not assigning the $4,000 radios, I wanna assign the sheriff radios that we have minimum money into. And if something happens, I think we bought $100 battery for each sheriff radio, and I wanna say that the flash fee was, I wanna say $200, $300. It wasn't cheap, but it wasn't expensive. It was cheaper than buying a pager. And if we're worried about pager or portables, I can even go to the police department and we can flash more. I don't think that we need to. So my question is if I do this, does anybody have a problem with it? If I figure out the way I wanna do it, can I issue these radios?
I don't see no problem with it.
I have a question, as usual. Why are people objecting to you doing this?
The objection I have, and it's not from many, it's from some, is because we've run with radios in the trucks for years and years and years and years. People don't like change, I mean, that's obvious. And it is gonna be a change, because we're used to going out with that security. Okay, we got 4 radios in this truck, we got 4 guys in this truck, so even though this guy's got a radio on his side, if it dies, we still got a radio for him. I mean, it's just, it's living in the past, unfortunately. It's, when we started this, Marks, my original intent was to get a portable for every person. It was gonna be assigned to the person. At the last minute, we changed our mind, we said, nope, we're gonna continue the way we run now. We're gonna issue them to the trucks, and when people show up in the truck, they can grab a radio. It's just not working. We overlooked the fact that they won't be able to hear anything. The officers are perfectly fine, they can hear everything that's going on. I can tell you anything that's going on. And even me, I don't carry my portable to work, it just don't make no sense. I'm just trying to fix it for the ones that show up. I'm not gonna assign them to people that ain't been coming around, obviously, that would be a waste. I'm just trying to, and like I said, I'm 1 per household. I'm not saying 1 per individual. We have a lot of couples, the Weavers, the Owenses, Desiatos. We have a lot of couples on our fire departments that we could kill 2 birds with 1 stone, assign 1 radio, and both people would have access to hear.
Thank you, I just was curious, so.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a way to track it, Bill, that they have serial numbers on each of the radios?
Oh, absolutely.
For insurance purposes?
Absolutely.
And replacement costs?
Yeah, absolutely. They all have serial numbers if we issue
Would you
them.
have a list of who has what radio?
I would. Right now, they're listed as being in the truck, but if we would reassign them, then yes, we would get serial numbers. And like I said, we can fill out a form. We can have even Stephen do it if you feel better, and have them sign. I mean, we don't do it for our other equipment, but maybe for the radios. And you might have some people that read that form and say, oh, I don't want one. But I think some of them, a lot of them would take them because they're taking them for the right reason. Totally up to you. I'm just trying to fix the problem. We've been this way since we went to Mark's back in March or April, whatever it was. And unfortunately, the guys that can't hear are getting irritated, and I don't blame them. I mean, you're putting yourself in liability coming in here, lights and sirens, and you can't hear what's going on. You don't know. They could have turned a crew. They could be waiting on you. That, you know, we gotta fix it. We just have to.
Steve, we need a waiver or anything, or what do you think on that?
That was for the property, right, so that they would be responsible for returning it?
Right.
Yeah.
And like I said, general wear and tear is gonna happen on these radios, you know, if
Well, absolutely.
one gets busted on a call, or, I don't expect the guy to pay for it, you know, but if this guy loses it, or, you know, runs over it with his car, oh, I forgot I set it on the driveway and I backed over it, well then we gotta figure out, you know, there's gotta be a line there somewhere, you know. Normal wear and tear or abuse on a call, that's gonna happen. We're gonna end up burning houses and everything else with these radios. You're gonna nick them, you're gonna break them, it happens, you know, but I mean, I'll gladly have people sign if they're willing to do that. And I know they will, because like I said, they're to the point that these guys are just trying to help, and they can't hear anything that's going on. And if I was in their shoes, the only reason I'm not is because I'm in charge. I mean, if I was in their shoes, I would be in the same, right, absolutely.
I understand that.
It's a liability to the village, it's a liability to our members, and it's just a liability that we can fix at no cost.
We have waivers next meeting, huh?
Yep.
All right, there you go.
Sounds good to me. I'll wait and we'll discuss it, and I'll wait until I can get to the waiver.
Maybe you can sort of calm the waters a little bit on that then, in the next.
We'll be all right.
Yes.
We'll be all right. Last thing I got, sorry guys, I'm taking forever. I haven't been here in a while, and I apologize for that. I wanna remind everybody, this Saturday is our chicken barbecue. We'll be working every night over at the or at the station if you guys are bored, you know, and who don't wanna come down and sweat in the 99-degree heat outside, you know. We got a lot of stuff to do, and if not, come at least eat some chicken on Saturday.
Let's hope it don't rain.
They're calling 40% chance last I heard, but it's supposed to be hot.
Oh, it'll be.
It's supposed to be, yeah, somebody said a heat index of like 105.
You need cookies and stuff too, I seen.
Yes,
you on,
we went
Facebook.
around town the other night, they did collect, Dan would know the numbers, I think it was just shy of $200 to help with donations for cakes and cookies and pies and all that good stuff. They're still gladly taking donations. No special brownies, if that's what you're thinking, we won't.
I'm messed up enough, I don't need that.
But that's all I got, unless you guys got something for me.
Thank you, Chief, it's good to see you again.
Sorry, like I said, I'll check my schedule, as long as, if I'm not gonna be here, I'll continue to write
And that-
what's going on.
That was great, the way you wrote that
And
out.
like I said, they've been laying me off about 1 week a month, and unfortunately, it never falls when it's council week, it's always some other week, so we'll see. I don't even know if I can make the next meeting.
I talked to Bill,
Appreciate it.
because the stop sign didn't get up at night when the electric was off the other day, 4 hours. And his fire department don't have it back to the police department, but first didn't know about it. So we get it taken care of, the police department knows where the sign's at.
The thing I will say, if for some reason, none of our guys would ever refuse to go get that, if for some reason the cops aren't available, call the fire department, call somebody, call me even, I'll get somebody if I'm not in town, we'll put it out, it's not a big deal. Normally, the cops do it just because they're here, you know what I mean, the power may go, we may not have anybody here, usually they do, so, but yeah, we'll make sure it's taken care of, but don't hesitate to call.
That was in the, Georgie asked when the power was out.
4 hours.
Where was you, asleep?
I never
Probably.
noticed it, but 4 hours.
All right, thanks again, Chief. Chief Geip, do you have anything for us tonight?
Couple things. We received a grant to get one new computer for police cars. We have the portable computers that we have inside of our cars.
Sounds good.
We were able to get the grant, we asked for 6 of them, and they gave me 1. Okay, I'll take it.
Thank you.
It's better than nothing. Debbie noticed that there was between the fuel between the street police and what they were pumping, we're about 150 gallons short of what they were filling up to us. I'll account for, so when I turn my report, I'll account for 50 of those being on my guys not logging it properly, which I think I'm below that. But my suggestion, and my thoughts on it is that we do like with how the fire department does with theirs. First off, we need to get a new lock on that. Thing's been on there since I started 5 years ago, and it was been on there before that. So I would suggest getting a new lock on the fuel pump. And then I would request that we get a fuel credit card for the police department that we can go to either Marathon or Speedway and fill our cruisers up, and there's no chance of not logging any gallons because we're losing that much gas. That's the solution I can think.
How much difference in prices we're gonna do? If we're gonna pay full time at the station, we don't pay it down there because we don't pay taxes.
We won't pay taxes at the station either, or at the gas station, because we'll have a credit card.
You
And we're
still
tax
pay
exempt.
taxes on fuel, different types of taxes,
Okay.
no matter where you get it at, you still pay the same amount.
So my thought is just, it's a secure way. I would hate to think that anybody from anywhere would be, I'm not gonna say my guys are doing it that way, I don't believe that for 1 minute, but I wouldn't want, it's just a more of a checks and balances, and I can, when I get billed monthly for my gas usage, I'm being accurately billed, and we're not getting gas that's extra that maybe, who knows what happened, or there's an error on the gas company's part, I don't know where it's coming from. All I know is it's unacceptable, and I think this is the way to fix it to where it keeps the checks and balances, at least on my department.
How many gallons was it?
98 unrecorded.
And that was for a 1 month period?
But that's not including my 50 that I took responsibility for.
No, cause you thought maybe there was 50, cause you had verified the miles with the gas, knowing
Correct.
about how many miles I got per gallon. Where I was just going from like the 15th of one month to the 16th of the other. We filled up 401 gallons, but there was 98 that we couldn't account for. So, he is interested in doing what, fire does, and they don't have a card per person, there's one card per vehicle, and it stays with the vehicle, is how fire does it. Then they have a secret PIN number of anybody driving, and they have to use their PIN number when they fill.
PIN number and mileage on every truck. When we fill up, we get out, we swipe the card, we have to enter the mileage of the truck, we have to enter a driver ID, and then it'll finally approve it. The downfall of that is, Chief, and I'll say, and I hate it down here, the squads that don't bother me because we're going to Massillon, we're going to Canton, wherever we're going by a station. The downfall of it is like the big trucks, the engines, we run a fire in Beach City, we come back with a half a tank of gas now, we can't just come home and wash the truck, and we gotta drive clear to Brewster or clear to Strasburg. And I mean, we've gotten used to it, we've done it for years now, but it is definitely a more accurate way of keeping track, I mean, so.
If you use the gas station in Wilmot, you're gonna be over there anyway.
I believe it's a Speedway gas station. I've got to look and make sure that Speedway or whatever accepts our card over there. So I'd like to do research and either do Speedway or Marathon. There's a Marathon in Brewster and one in Strasburg.
Marathon doesn't have credit cards.
That's right, they got rid of theirs.
They got rid of theirs.
So we probably have to go. Would you go to
We
Speedway?
do Speedway, yeah.
So there's Rich's gas station in Wilmot is Speedway. We're there every shift.
Well, that's not necessarily true, though. I don't know what our cards are. They're super fleet. We can get fuel at
Right.
Marathon.
But as far as the Marathon
Actual card, yeah, they may be
They got
going.
rid of those.
So maybe we go with whatever
The
gas.
super fleet, we can go to Marathon, we can go to Bell Stores, we can go to Speedway and Navarre. We can go to any of those places.
We can do that. That'd be
Yeah.
great.
They're owned by the same company, actually.
Yeah.
See,
So if you guys don't have an issue with that, I'd like approval to get, 4 credit cards then?
well, how many cars are you driving?
4 cards. So we get four cards, same company. It's just, I don't want to have to know, if my guy forgets to log gallons of gas one night, rather where the error is. This way it's 100% accountable because I'm gonna see him on camera at them gas stations. And that takes us away from sharing with the street department, which I don't have an issue with, but I would just
There's
rather.
no problem with accountability, I have no problem with that. It's for your sake. for your-
Who do we have down there that's getting gas from then on? Just the street department alone?
On that specific tank?
Yeah.
Street department and the police.
But after they get their credit card?
And
they
just
do
in the
what?
street, and what did I tell you they used that one night?
24 gallons.
24 gallons over that period of time, so,
So this way, there's no, and then switch the locks, that way none of my guys have keys to it. If there's something that happens where we need gas, we can go to one of the gas stations.
Is there a meter on this tank that you
we've
lost
gone
this
over all,
98
we've
gallons?
gone over all
Now, each
that.
of your officers are all gonna have a pin for that.
What was it, all of them, or is it just 4 pins?
It's-
No, it'd be a
It's
different pin.
an individual
for each.
pin.
Individual operator.
Great.
Every officer, or every member of our department has an individual PIN number.
That's even better for me.
Yes, you have your own PIN number under your name,
Good.
and that the card is one per vehicle for the cards. You
Even
keep them
better.
in the vehicles.
Yep, I 100% think it's a great idea.
I have no problem with that.
Do you have motion for it, Joe?
Yeah, if you would.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Second.
Bennett?
Yes.
Fair?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Chuck?
Yes.
Okay, and the only other thing that I have is, what's your thoughts on the new car? I know Dad touched on it earlier. You guys okay with ordering?
We're having a finance meeting. When you wanna meet, you guys? It's whenever you guys.
Well, yeah.
I was wanting to know what day you two were,
You have to go to Cleveland, so you. have
Mondays
a more-
or Thursdays.
So let's do it on a date that works for you, and then we can be there.
All right, sure.
Yeah, I don't have a life.
Tomorrow night. You can.
What time?
6.
Finance meeting for Thursday.
So when is it?
Tuesday, tomorrow at 6.
Tomorrow at 6.
What
Are
do
you available then?
I'll be there.
Okay.
What do you want from me? What information?
Well, we already have the interest rates.
You want, like when the loan ends, the new one would begin?
Right.
Alright.
Is there anything you guys want from me for that night? I'll be there.
Money.
It's a
Down,
report.
down. I can't hear it.
You also got court. Okay, other than that, that's all I've got, guys.
Very good, thank you. Chief. Mr. Joel Bender is here tonight from Whittaker Myers. He's gonna speak to us. Mr. Bender?
I just want to give you guys a quick update on what's going on with the Ohio plan and what your premiums have done this year and whatever. First of all, I'll just kind of go over the real brief highlight of it. You guys are entering in the third year of a 3-year contract with the Ohio plan we initiated 2 years ago. This year's premium, the things we've done, and I'll go through a couple of things real quick here. We did increase the property values by $126,000 this year. That's a 1.7% inflation factor. We did increase your contractor's equipment $76,000, of which $68,000 of that was to Stryker's pieces that were mounted on the ambulances and the Stryker path to go with it. And then we did go ahead and delete one 1994 pickup truck last year as well too. With all of that being said, the premium went down $152. You gained another $23 in the Advantage credit, so your premium actually went down $175 from last year. Okay. If you go real quickly back to page 23 of this big blob of paper that I've given you, the Ohio plan tries to very much stay ahead of what's going on out there and try to get ahead of the ball game. Unfortunately, we live in a world, I guess is one of the radio personality says that I listen to, radio, a world I don't understand. Anymore, it seems like that about every few weeks or something, you see of a new incident where someone's gone into a public facility or gone into somewhere and done something that is basically something that's beyond my imagination. What the Ohio plan has done is for all of their members, they have added a coverage this year. They call it malicious assailant coverage. What it does is it provides liability for your entity of up to $5 million if an incident should occur and some legal responsibilities, for legal action be taken against the village for that. There is a $10,000 deductible with that, but what's more important to me, I guess, maybe, with the $5 million, which you hopefully that you never know how much is going to be enough, but the $250,000 aggregate extension aggregate down there, it provides up to $250,000 that can be used for public relations consulting costs, relocation expenses, counseling and psychiatric care for those people who are involved, medical expenses, job retraining, recruitment, security, and they'll even pay $1,000 towards someone's funeral if it's necessary to do that. So those are things, it's something that the program has seen, the board felt that it was necessary with today's goings on, that they should add a coverage they need to be able to protect its members.
So they had a problem somewhere, they come up with that then?
Yes, yes. For instance, you have someone that walks into the post office and starts, shooting up the place and whatever. Obviously, there could be some responsibility for the post office. If security wasn't right, there's all sorts of legal action that can take place from something like that. And then it also.
But that would generally be a postal employee.
Could be someone that walks into a constituent right here in the village of Beach City that's mad about something.
Stamp price, whatever.
Whatever, or the guys, didn't pass the fire levy, or you didn't support it, or, I mean, it could be just about anything. I mean, who knows what these people are thinking when they run into a situation
Could
like
be
that.
Tuesday.
Could be, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it could be, you know, I didn't like dinner tonight, so let's go take it out on the village council meeting. So, those kinds of things unfortunately are happening in today's world. And the Ohio Plan Board thinks that they need to have that coverage in place for its members, just so that everyone can be a little bit safer at night with those kinds of things. So that kind of takes care of that. If you flip back just a couple pages then to page 26, it's just kind of a premium summary of how things went. The package this year came in at $23,530. You guys have been a member this year, so you're eligible for up to a 4% credit, so you got $882 worth of credit this year, which means that the total package premium this year went down to $22,648. And there's some additional things on there, options that we can talk about. The options for increasing the liability, you guys have $3 million worth of liability across the board for your general liability, your public officials, your auto, and those kinds of things. If you wanted to increase that to 4, you can see that there are 4, 5, or 6. There's some options to be able to do that down there. The uninsured motorist coverage, those options are down there. I think you carry $100,000 right now for that. And then the only other thing that we really gave an option on this year had to do with the crime coverages. And right now, you guys have $10,000, actually $100,000 for employee dishonesty coverage, and then you have $100,000 for public employee dishonesty. There's theft of money and security inside and outside, so if someone been robbed the place, there's up to $10,000 for the coverage, or if you're making a bank deposit, that person, that courier, would be insured for up to $10,000 for that. Forgery and alteration, the computer fraud, there's funds transfer fraud, and there's social engineering fraud. You guys have $10,000 with all of that except for the social engineering, and you only have $5,000 for that. The social engineering fraud, I think you guys should have enough safeguards in place because you're a public entity, but it seems like the school systems are being hit real hard right now with social engineering. There's other things. Social engineering is that if I can convince that person on the phone that I'm talking to, or an email maybe even comes through, the mayor tells Deb that he needs her to send some money over to the bank or sends to transfer something or whatever, and they get that person, or it could even be getting your street guy to send money over to pay a bill or whatever that is, okay? But if they can get you to do that of your own free will, it's not considered theft from our standpoint. It's considered, because you've given that money of your own free will and intention, it doesn't fall under a crime. At least from an insurance perspective. I mean, it's a crime to do that, obviously, but I've had one where I had a board of DD that I had who is, they formed a nonprofit organization for the workshop, and somebody hacked into the workshop's email system. They managed to get an email sent from the CEO over to the head of the accounting department saying, and with some story about he had initiated some project that this company he was working with, and he needed some money to get the thing going. He was authorizing her to send $60,000 to this, whatever it was, account at the bank that they use. But here's the account that I need you to send this money to be able to get this payment made, or this invoice that he had in hand, or whatever it was, to get it done. The accountant went ahead and transferred the $60,000. The bank sent the CEO an acknowledgement that the transfer had been received and made, and he said, "What transfer?" And by that time, $60,000 from the workshop was gone.
I could see them doing that to Debbie. Something like that to her.
So I think that those those safeguards are pretty well in place because of the way that you pay your bills, and that Deb's just not gonna give a bunch of money out or give any kind of money out, but, yes. Those kinds of
We have
things.
to threaten her to get a paycheck.
But I'm here to tell you that those things actually are real, and they do happen. I mean, as many scams and everything else we see as our email systems come through and everything else.
You should've went down
I
to Mount
guarantee you
Sterling.
that the city, the school systems and all that bit with all the pay to play and all the other things that they've got, they see tons of that kind of stuff, where someone's tried to infiltrate your computer system, figure out who it is, what it is, and then they try and figure out a way of getting you to transfer money out. So you've got those right now. It is possible to increase some of the costs or some of the coverages for those, and there are some options on that last page to be able to do that. You can increase the social engineering to 10 to match everything for like $14 a year to do that. And then if you wanted to increase all of those from 10 to either 25 or 50, those premiums that are associated with that. Not very expensive. Obviously, the exposure isn't real huge from that standpoint, and that's why the premiums are fairly low on that stuff. But it's just something that we like at least to put out in front of you so that you know what the costs of some of those things are. So that if you feel more comfortable, that's fine.
That actually happened in my son's garage 2 weeks ago. He was talking to Canon Printer Company, and somehow got transferred to somebody who wasn't with Canon anymore. I mean,
They are extremely creative in what they're able to do now. Some of the things I attended a cyber seminar a few months ago with Travelers, and one of the things, they do a lot of cyber stuff, a lot of cyber insurance and a lot of cyber negotiations and all of those things. One of the story, but what they've got sophisticated enough now to do is that now that the cyber criminals a lot of times will break into the system. It used to be if they could get in, they would plant something immediately and then ask for some sort of a ransom right away. And they had no idea what they'd ever broken into and how much was the right amount. What they've done now is they've gotten even more sophisticated, because what they do now is they break in and they'll be in your system without you knowing about it for an extended period of time. And what they do is that they root around to try and figure out exactly what they've broken themselves into. And once they figure out what it is, then they set the price.
You gotta know what kind of cookies are in the jar.
Exactly. We actually had, and it's no big secret, Worcester City Hospital is a city hospital. They were ransomed. Someone got into their system, someone opened up an email or did something, whatever they did, but they basically shut the whole computer system for the hospital down for a weekend. And to do that at a hospital is a pretty drastic thing, And what Travelers ended up doing is that they actually ended up negotiating with
The hacker.
the hackers to give them, and what they did is they sectioned it off into modules, their system, and pay me a little bit, I'll give you the keys to this one, you pay me some more, I'll give you the keys to the next one, and that's how they negotiate and get through all of those things. So, if these guys would put half as much effort into doing something positive as opposed to negative, the world would obviously be a heck of a lot better place than what it is. But there's money and crime at some point along the way.
That's why you always gotta hire the crook to make it, to fix it.
Absolutely. The only other thing from my standpoint, and I said something to Bill before he left, and I actually said something to the chief the other day. I did stop in a couple of weeks ago and talk to Deb. I've got all of the cell phones or the phone numbers, contact information for all the department heads, and I want to be able to meet with them individually and kind of go through their inventories you know, like the Marks radios and the other radios and all that, and the other stuff that the fire department carries, as well as each one of the other departments. And just kind of sit down, go over what their inventories are, compare them to what we have, we're insuring them for, to make sure that for whatever reason, we've not missed something, they've not missed something, and that if something ever goes wrong, that we're gonna have all the right stuff in place for you to be able to do that. So, that's kind of a real brief outline of what we're doing this year. So, the premium's down a little bit, good thing.
$100 and some dollars.
$100 and
No,
some
it's better than nothing.
Better than going up.
It's better than going up. You know, if you think about it, when you first joined the program, it was $28,000, a little about $28,600 in 2015. We got it down to $21,600 in 16. 17 was $22,500. 18 was $22,800, and this year is $22,600. So, over the last 4 years, you guys have been pretty darn steady, and we've made some changes along the way too.
Well,
So-
Debbie's really had to do a good job there.
Absolutely, Deb does a great job.
Hey, look here.
Just say what's going on.
I got it.
I wouldn't trust you either. Trust who?
And if there's any questions about anything, if you go home and see something that doesn't look right, or, you know, something that's missing, or whatever, a question about something that we've got on there, by all means, you know, Deb's got my phone number, you got my cards in there, give me a call, I'll be happy
Call him direct.
to go over it. Hey,
Bypass garage?
That's right.
So,
I take phone calls just about any time of night, from anybody, you just never know.
Yeah.
Well, I know a town that needs you real bad.
Don't go there.
Mount Sterling needs you bad.
Mount Sterling.
what I've done.
Anybody got any questions for Mr. Bender?
Not yet, I'll think of a couple.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Like I said, if there's anything I can do to help in any way, shape, or form.
I'll get us down 200 next year.
There you go. We'll
We
give
gotta
it a shot.
resign next year. Or discuss.
When we're getting all them new radios, you know darn well they're gonna be cheaper.
Well, you know, and I too, I know that you guys have looked at some of the marks and that kind of stuff, obviously. We do a lot of municipality, and I have 100 and some clients, so I've got a bunch of them right here in Stark County, and they've been involved in that marks process as well too. You know, and that marks radio, I mean, they really do make a huge difference in everything. But, you know, there may be some people that you know, have some older radios maybe that could be utilized on you guys as well too, or whatever. And, you know, if that's something you're interested in, I'm happy to talk to some of those other people that have gotten some of those systems as well too, and if they've got extras or whatever, that may be something that's on the table for you.
Well, there's your radius number. Back up.
Backhoe.
Back up.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you all,
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Joel. Have a good evening, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Solicitor, do you have anything for us tonight?
No, I will have that, release or waiver agreement for the fire chief for the next week, but I don't have any.
Anybody else got anything?
I talked to the mayor last week about the streets. Tom had reached to go with ADR now, he thought maybe we should have a committee meeting, which would be Mr. Bailey, Hayes, and me. So whenever you guys can make it, next week, whatever, this week, I don't care. But just try to discuss and try to figure out what we can, I don't know how we.
You can just come down tomorrow and go in there, it's we're out here.
Don't matter to me, whatever you guys want to do. You know, because I want to try to figure out, there's got to be somewhere we got to find a way to get these streets done.
You know, there may be some grants out there, there may be, you know, something we need to, John and I was talking to get the committee together first to, at least so you guys are aware, you know, and say, hey, what, you know, can we reach out to somebody to see if they can help us to see what's out there? Just kind of a
There's no doubt.
first step, really, to see if there's anything we can do, because these streets definitely aren't getting any better.
Do you have any?
I have no idea.
When they say where the state's gonna do 93 in the near future.
Yeah, 93 is gonna be done by the state.
Roman.
I don't know why they did 21.
212 is gonna be also be done, isn't that what they said?
Well, they said 93, ODOT was gonna do 93 here, but right now they're starting out Baltic, I think. They're doing a stretch between Baltic and Sugar Creek. And then they're doing from Sugar Creek to right out here, to 250.
Did they ever tell you when they wanted to do the bridge over here?
It was supposed to be this summer.
According to the email, the village will receive additional 25,619 gallons in 2020 and 25,840 dollars in 2021 for improvements to bridges and roads.
We will receive that?
That's what the village.
That's because the extra gas tax.
That's some money to work with on the roads.
When did you get that? Is that,
April 16th.
I was gonna say it's coming back tomorrow.
Yeah.
So when, Bailey, when would it be?
Whenever you want to.
Right. Take some notes and fill us in on what
Tomorrow,
Tomorrow's fine.
What you guys wanna do?
Tomorrow's 6, that's
at
fine.
6 o'clock? Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
When we
It's cheap bringing donuts
Yep.
and Starbucks.
I don't go to Starbucks.
No.
What's that?
It's not a majority.
Meeting first,
Yeah,
yes.
you're not gonna have
Yeah.
time to
Yeah.
message.
Yeah.
Both at 6 p.m.
Debbie, when does that money come in from, he just talked?
2020. Yes, is it 2020?
As long as it has
That's
to fund.
just executive committee. You have to do that.
Are you gonna, you gonna come in and get some information from Debbie about how much money there then?
We don't have a plan, no, yeah. I will figure out whether we want to go with ADR now, we'll talk to them.
That's Stern.
I wanted to talk to Don too. Don says something about the water line. He says about the water line in, that's take care of this Main Street.
Well, money we can get from Main Street.
Donnie's probably not gonna be back for a little while, cause they put him in the hospital today. Some issues he's having, so hopefully by next week maybe.
That's fine. We'll work on
So
something.
finance is tomorrow at 6.
Finance is tomorrow at 6, streets is tomorrow at 6.
Just go to separate.
Yep. Don't even say hi to each other. Don't even look at it. Anybody got anything else? You do? Oh.
What do you got here?
Meeting's adjourned.